Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are probably not, because you're here at our Worldox virtual user group meeting for October of 2016. Not just October of 2016, but October 31st of 2016. And we all know what that is. It's time for Patty to tell us her Halloween joke. Patty, why doesn't the mummy have any friends?
I don't know, Paul. Why doesn't a mummy have friends?
That's not the way we rehearsed this. I guess it's because he's so wrapped up in himself. Oh, that's your fake Halloween laugh, isn't it?
That's my fake Halloween laugh.
No, this is not the third time we've told that joke in a virtual user group meeting today. But here we are, me and Patty. Where's Leanne? Where's Mary Jo? More on that. Let's see. We started the day out with Mary Jo saying that her husband Matthew is very sick and she could not come up here. Normally she sits in the same room as I do when we do these because it's easier for face-to-face. Then she called a little while later and said that since he was so dehydrated and since he couldn't keep anything down, not that you really need to know that, they had to move the meeting up. So I'm on my own and have been on my own for all the virtual user group meetings today, and I must say I'm doing pretty good. It's almost like I know how this stuff works. Now, where's Leanne? Well, Leanne is retired. No, she hasn't retired from Attorney Computer Systems. She still works here, but she has retired from being our humble moderator. And no, that doesn't mean she's no longer humble, but she's still our moderator. Leanne just is no longer the moderator of our virtual user group meetings, or for those of you who've been to them, our Coffee Pot webinars. Our new, equally humble moderator is Patty. And so Patty, from this point forward, will be taking the role that Leanne took. So it's exciting. It's a little scary because it's Patty's first official time as moderator, and it's my first time doing these totally by myself. But we will get through this because today we are talking about sorting on multi-levels, which we'll explain exactly what that means in just a second, and controlling direct access. A couple neat little tricks that Mary Jo and I picked up somewhere. I think maybe we learned them from Rob Nagy, who gives these webinars for the authorized resellers, just like we give them for you, our users. But wherever we got it, pretty cool tricks on how to control where you're going in direct access. And so now, without further ado, I'm going to press all of the magic buttons. We don't just have one magic button here. We have several magic buttons. And get back to Worldox, where we will talk about a couple things. Now, we know, at least we think we know, that if we are sorted by modified date, like that, descending by modified date, that we can click this little arrow, and now we're sorting ascended by modified date. This happens to be my favorite files, all of my favorite files. Click it again. The arrow points downward now to say, hey, we're sorting descending by modified date. But if you wanted to find the highest document ID that's in your list, you can just click here, and you will get, this is ascending by document ID, so this is the lowest document ID that's in my list of client favorites or favorite files. Here's my highest document ID. This is the email that I just put into Worldox. So we know how to sort in a column layout, and we know that we can sort on anything that exists in that particular screen, that particular column layout, as long as the column's there by simply clicking on the column header. What a lot of people don't know is that we can also change the sort here, or the same thing will happen if we go into list sort here. Now, when we click that, we get this little box. And so a lot of people don't pay any attention to this part down here, and that's really what I'm after showing you. But I want to explain to you that this one that's pinned open is the one that's currently sorted by. We're currently sorted by date modified, new to old, and then by document ID. We're going to have a history down here of things that we've sorted by before. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. No, this is the This one that's pinned open is actually the one that's tied to this view. And then the others are historical or tied to other views or things that we've sorted on before. But then this is what I want to get into. It's nice to be able to sort by doc ID. It's nice to be able to sort by date modified. It's nice to be able to sort by description. But what if you wanted to sort by modified date, but then for all the ones that are today, I want to then sort by description? You can't really do that when you're doing it this way, okay? Here I'm sorting by description. Here I'm sorting by modified date. Here I'm sorting by doc ID. But as soon as I click one, the other one goes off. So it's a single level sort, and that's the only thing that I can do by clicking around here. This, however, gives me the ability to do multi-level sort. So if I say I want to sort first by date modified with the newest at the top, and then by description, and then this one, it doesn't really matter because if you're sorting by description, you're not going to have anything to sub-sort by. This gives me the ability to sort by multiple levels. And a lot of people don't know they can do that. A lot of people know, hey, I can click on this, I can click on this, I can click on this. But what they really want is something where they'll see all of the modified date together, but then sorted by description in my example here. And when we do that, we get all the todays and then a descending and I'm looking at this and that's not quite sorted right. I wonder why. Sort files another way. I think when we get into the re's and the forwards, we get into some issues. So I'm going to actually pull up somebody. Let's pull up Purdue Law. We like Purdue Law. So I'm going to go to Direct Access, and I'm going to pull up Purdue. Yeah, there are probably a bunch of emails as well. Emails can sometimes be difficult to sort by because of the re's, the forwards, and how it works on that. But in any event, what you end up with is the ability to do a multi-level sort by anything. And it doesn't even have to be something that's in the column layout. So as long as it's a field that's accessible, we can sort by those fields here in the sort, even though they're not in the column layout. Those of you who are familiar with how Practice Master works, that's not quite the way it works as far as you can only do sort by things that are in the column layout. Here in Worldox, that's not true. We can sort by things that are outside the scope of the column layout. So that's multi-level sorting. And if you have never seen it, if you've never done it before, it can be really significant in how you are arranging things beyond that single level sort you can get here. And if you go here to customize and you tell it you want to make this your favorite view, it's going to save that sort as well. So once you set up a favorite sort, if you save that as your favorite view, not only is it going to save how the columns are laid out and how they're spaced and how long they are and how wide they are, it's also going to save the sort as part of that favorite view. And so therefore, the next time you come in, bam, you've got your multi-level sort set the way you want it. Now the other thing I want to show you today has to do with favorite files and how they work. The first thing I want to show you is that, and this was something that I never knew, and I find it kind of fascinating. So why, when I go to Direct Access, am I defaulting to Norris Joplin? Because sometimes when I go to Direct Access, I might default to Marwadell, or I might default to Lewis Wagner. Those are all clients of ours that are represented by Direct Access. Direct Access is your way to get to usually to a specific client in a specific matter. What makes it default differently? It's the location of the thing that you are on. So if we look at the profile for this webinar email, we'll see that's for Norris Joplin. And if we look at the profile for this Alpha Work survey, we'll see that that is Lewis Wagner. So when I'm highlighting the Lewis Wagner document and I hit direct access, I go to Lewis Wagner. And when I'm highlighting a document that's tagged or profiled to Norris Joplin and I hit direct access, I go to Norris Joplin. Knowing that can be significant, because not knowing it, it's kind of a crapshoot, really. I mean, it's why am I doing this? Why is it going to Norris when the last record that I pulled up, or the last document that I profiled, let's say, was Lewis Wagner? It's because of what I'm highlighting. And so if you don't understand that, well, then you've got to type Lewis and Wag and get it to find Lewis Wagner and get there that way, and that can be a real pain. Whereas if you actually understand, oh sure, I picked somebody with over 5,000 files, there we go. If you actually understand how it's doing this, then you can look and say, oh yeah, I want to go to a Norris Joplin direct access. I want to see all their files. So I highlight a Norris Joplin email and I go to a Norris Joplin list immediately. Now the other thing to understand, this search will take you to a place where you can then, among other things, you can go to direct access. How do you determine what direct access defaults to when you're in search? It's this little heart. So if I say, okay, it's defaulting to best practices, anytime I come to this search screen and then hit direct access, and it's odd because you think search, why would you go to search and then hit direct access? Search is actually your way to get to a new tab. If I'm on a tab of favorite, I guess this is Norris Joplin, and then I go here and I can go to direct access and I want to go to Lewis Wagner, okay? Because I want to have multiple tabs open. Well, I got to choose client files and I got to type Lewis Wagner, oops, and choose them, put in 00, and then I can get there, okay? But I don't want to have to select client files. I'm always going to client files. And so if it's not defaulting when you go to this search, which is also another way of saying new tab, if you choose who you want it to go to, or which cabinet, client files in this instance, and then hit the little heart next to the cabinet label, then from that point forward, when you hit direct access, you would default to client files. So, to summarize, if you have a situation where you hit search, which really means take me to a new tab because I've got Lewis open here, I've got Norris open here, now I want to open Purdue Law. And so when you go to new tab and you hit direct access, it's always defaulting to something other than client files, and you're like, why is that? Because then I have to drop this down and select client files when in fact I just want it to default to that. It's because you didn't hit the heart while client files was selected. Once you hit the heart while client files is selected, then every time you go to search, which also means new tab, and hit direct access, you will always be going to client files. Now you'll still have to type who you want to go to. I think I said I wanted to go to Purdue Law, so now I'm going to Purdue Law, and when I hit search to go to another client, let's say Marwadell, and I hit direct access, I'm already in client files. I don't have to drop down that list of cabinets and choose client files every single time. Now, people then sometimes think, okay, well, I want to go to direct access and I want to tell it that client files is my favorite. There's no heart. Why can't I do that? Because that's only to be done when you're on the new tab or the search screen. That's when you get the heart to fill in or to click on within direct access. Hopefully that makes sense. And then to summarize the other, when you're in favorite files, and you hit direct access, you will automatically default to whatever you had underneath, whatever file you had highlighted. So once you understand that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to go to wherever it is that you want to go based on what you're highlighting. Hope that makes sense. It was a real aha moment for both me and Mary Jo, especially this one right here, because we're always in favorite files, and we always want to go to this one. Now we want to go to that client. Now we want to go to that client. We've worked on all three of them all day, so they're in favorite files. Why aren't we? What determines what defaults? That underlying file that you've got highlighted. So there, we did it. I did both topics, and I didn't panic, and we are now done. Next month, we are going to talk about related documents and column layouts. We're going to get more in depth about these column layouts that we kind of touched on while we were talking about sort. And we're going to talk about how to relate documents to other documents. This document is the parent of these 7 documents, and one of those 7 documents has 2 children, 2 other subdocuments. We can relate documents together like that. Really makes a lot of sense when you get into interrogatories and answers and third iterations and things like that as to how you organize your documents and relate them together. We're going to talk about how that works. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not show you that if you go to our website, which is Attorney Computer Systems, with an emphasis on the last S in the word systems.com, you will get to a place where, among other things, you can highlight the videos tab and see all of our live events, the 3 virtual user group meetings, 1 for tabs, 1 for Practice Master, 1 for Worldox, along with our coffee pot webinars that I give each month on add-on products and add-on services to accentuate the 3 main products. And when you click on one of those, like this Worldox virtual user group meeting, you will see registration information for the next live event, which is the one we're in right now. So here's the October 31st, along with the description and links to register. And as we scroll down, we get to a point where we actually see recorded versions of the prior webinars. So everything that we do live, we record and ends up on here in the appropriate subheading based on what it is. And then we, of course, also have these 2 pre-recorded series, Mary Jo's eBites, little short 2, 3, 4-minute videos, 3 recorded each month, 1 on tabs, 1 on Practice Master, 1 on Worldox. And our longer format, Paul and Mary Jo show, where we'll take a broader topic and get into great detail, spending sometimes 10, 15, even 20 minutes going into great depth on a certain specific topic. So please take advantage of those. We also have search functionality at the top if you're looking specifically for something, but we find people just come here and browse and then realize that it's 4 o'clock in the morning and they haven't gone to bed yet. Don't do that, but do take advantage of this. So without any further ado, I'll do one more thing and I'll show you just how nerdy I am in that these came in the mail on Saturday, and I've had the tabs 3 for a while. You can tell because it's kind of dirty. I live on a dirt road, but now we have 3 vehicles at our house, and one is called tabs 3, one is called Worldox, and one is called Practice Master. Now, I will caution you, if you see somebody driving a car with Michigan plates that say Worldox, by all means, do not pull over that person and ask her questions about Worldox, because it will be my wife, and she can't figure out how to use her voicemail on her phone. So if you start asking her questions about Worldox, you'll be in trouble. But you will know that you're dealing with me or my wife if you see Michigan plates that say those things. So we'll leave you with that. Everybody have a good rest of the day, good rest of the month, even though it's over, and we will see you in November. Thanks much. Bye-bye.